When I was in junior high many years ago, to ask a girl out involved a certain dance. You first had to find out whether or not she spoke well of you, so that, okay, does she speak kindly of me? Then you would want to see, well, does she do anything like give you or go out of her way to be kind to you in some sort of action? But the surest way to know that if you ask her out to the dance, you will not be rebuffed, is to ask her friends. Does she like me? And that's the sure sign that you can do that. And following Christ is somewhat similar in these readings. It says, from the fullness of the heart the mouth speaks. That we've seen that, whether, especially in the news from yesterday when President Zelensky and Trump got into it. And that didn't happen there. It happened a long time ago when Zelensky is angry about the mine deal, Trump is angry about the money given, and it just kind of flash-pointed. And that's where it happened. And the same is true for us as we speak about the church. We speak about the bishop. We speak about the pastor. We speak about a whole bunch of other things, and including Christ. Why do I have to go to church? Why is it so restrictive? Why can't I? Out of the heart, the mouth speaks. But it can be the case where, okay, my words are flowery and my words are nice, but my actions are not. It's that Jesus is talking, saying that a good tree does not bear rotten fruit, nor does a rotten tree bear good fruit. You'll know the tree by its fruit. That are my actions in conformity with that of Christ? Am I generous? Am I kind? Am I merciful? Am I everything that Jesus has called his disciples to be? But then the final one is to say, to ask my neighbor, am I all these things? Because I can tell you, I am a wonderful person. I am kind, merciful, just, patient, and all the rest. And then you ask any one of my friends or anybody who's known me for 5 minutes, and you know that I'm none of those things, even though I perceive myself to be all of those things. It is that blind being the blind that I fall into the pit. And that's where we need our brothers and sisters to gently, or sometimes not so gently, point this out to us. We see in the example of St. Paul, a man who lives this all out. As we hear in his letter to the Corinthians, death is swallowed up in victory. Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting? He is jubilant and celebratory. His words are conveying what's in his heart of the resurrection of Jesus Christ from the dead, how Jesus Christ has overcome sin and death, and he is celebrating. And we know that from his life, how he suffered for the cross of Christ, we know that he did indeed bear good fruit. And that is why we know for him and has canonized him as a saint. For our own selves, this is last Sunday before we begin our Lenten journey. It is time for us to pray, fast, and give alms. And these readings are about the same thing. As we're praying, is our mouths going to express what's in our heart to Jesus Christ? Are we going to pray more? Are we going to fast and bear good fruit? And the first fast we do is fasting from sin. Those things that take us away from God and neighbor. And finally, will we give alms so that our neighbor is going to be benefited by what we have done? I thought the most challenging Lent that you can ever have is one where you ask your spouse or your good friend, what is it that I should do? Because they know you so much more than I do myself. As we come before this heavenly table, we give praise and thanks to God, who does love us, who has shown us through his words, through his actions, and through the tradition of the church how much he has loved us. And he invites us to love him in return.